Big Bae energy. Look left to get right. Read between the candles. Yeah, 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 yeah. Read between the candles. Yeah, 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 yeah.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of Read Between the Candles. I'm Chanel Hill, aka Forex Bae. This show is where we break down the market in a simple, practical way by combining fundamentals, technical analysis, and trader psychology. We'll start with BaeEconomics, take a quick look at what's happening on the economic calendar, then jump into the charts to identify key levels, possible scenarios, and what I'll be watching for the upcoming session. I've been trading since 2018, and one thing I've learned is trading isn't about predicting the future, it's about preparing for possibilities. So whether you're brand new to trading or you've been trading for years, welcome to the community. Let's get into today's BaeEconomics. Welcome to BaeEconomics. What's moving the money today? Today's economic calendar was relatively quiet with no major high impact news releases scheduled. That's important because major events often create additional volatility and can influence how price moves throughout the session. With a lighter calendar, we may see the market respect technical levels a little more closely, though anything can happen once traders step into the market. Remember, fundamentals helps us understand what could move the market, while technical analysis helps us identify where opportunities may develop. No major red folder events today, so let's move over to the charts and see what price is telling us. Now let's read between the candles. Before we jump into the analysis, I want to quickly explain how I look at the market. I use what's called a top-down analysis. That simply means I start with the bigger picture and I work my way down to the smaller time frames. The higher time frame helps me identify the overall direction of the market, while the lower time frame helps me identify areas where I may want to look for opportunities. And most of the time you'll see me analyzing gold because, well, gold is my bae. But as the community grows, I'll also take requests for other pairs and markets you'll like me to cover. So let's start with the bigger picture. Starting with the weekly chart, I'm not looking for entries. I repeat, I'm not looking for entries. I'm simply looking for the overall story. The first thing I'm going to do is mark the most recent swing high. This tells me where buyers previously pushed the market before sellers stepped in. Next, I'm going to mark the current area where price appears to be pulling back to. Right now, we're seeing a pullback from those highs, so my focus is understanding whether this is simply a correction or the beginning of something larger. Moving down to the daily chart, I can start seeing structure more clearly. So here I'm going to mark the most recent lower high. This level is important because if price remains below it, sellers are still controlling the market. Next, I'm going to mark the recent low, which is about right here. Price is really there almost. This becomes an area I'll watch closely because it's where buyers previously stepped in. And at the moment, the daily chart is showing lower highs and lower lows, which gives me a bearish bias. Now let's move down to the 4-hour chart. Let me zoom up a little bit. This is where I'll start looking for areas that may become actionable during the week. So I'm going to mark my resistance areas. We have some resistance here. Some resistance here. So if price pushes back into these areas, I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be monitoring closely to see how sellers respond. And then I'm going to mark my support area, which is right here. We kind of have it already marked from the higher time frame, but I'll put another little rectangle here. So this is where buyers recently showed interest. Right now, price is trading between these areas, so I'm paying attention to whichever side breaks first. So now let's move on to our 1 hour chart. So now I kind of think of the 1 hour chart as my roadmap that I need to refine. So I'm gonna mark today's low and the high. These are the levels I'm watching most closely in the near term. So where does that leave us? Right now, my bias is cautiously bearish. The higher time frame continues to show weakness and price is still trading below key resistance levels. However, I'm not married to the bias. I'm not married to that bias at all. If price can break above this resistance level and create higher highs, then I'll start looking for bullish opportunities. However, if price breaks below our support areas, then I'm gonna take that as a sign for a continuation to the downside. Remember, these aren't predictions, they're possibilities. The market gets to decide I'm tongue-tied. The market gets to decide what it wants to do. My job is simply to identify the levels, create a plan, and let price do the talking. Okay, so before we end, I want to leave you with today's Bae State of Mind. Patience pays. I did not like hearing that at the beginning of my trading journey, but it's so true. Patience pays. Not every candle is your candle. Wait for your setup. That's all for today's episode. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep your risk managed and always remember to read between the candles.
Big Bae Energy.